Welcome. Thank you for the privilege to educate your student. I understand that families have choices, and we appreciate the choice that you have made to send your child here to your neighborhood school, Quail Hollow Middle School. It is going to be an excellent school year. My name is Neill, and I have the honor of being the principal here at Quail Hollow. At Quail Hollow, we are school teachers as opposed to classroom teachers. This concept started a few years ago by an editorial that was written by a teacher, and it has really become a part of the foundation of our philosophy here at Quail Hollow. So what does it mean to be a school teacher? It means that we are committed to serving all students in our school, and we work as a team to do that. You might experience this with teachers working together as teams to regroup students at times or to incorporate virtual learning to make sure that every single student is challenged to reach their full potential. It also means that all faculty and staff members work together consistently to enforce our expectations for our students because we know that they can reach those high expectations. This year we have 3 big rocks or priorities at our school that we as a faculty have been discussing at great length this week, and you'll continue to hear about throughout the year. Those 3 rocks are 1, using data to inform our instructional practices to reach each individual student. 2, developing growth mindsets and building relationships with each of our students. And 3, literacy. So what do these mean? Data-driven instruction means that we look at each individual student, how they are doing and progressing towards mastering each standard that we teach them, and we monitor that progress to make adjustments where we need to support a student. You'll experience this if your student has not yet met mastery of an objective, and your student might be talking about retesting that objective after they practice a little bit more and develop their skill. You also may experience this with a new portal that we will be sharing with you over the first quarter of the school year. That web platform is called Mastery Connect, and so you will have the opportunity to log in and monitor again your students' progress towards mastering each objective. We want to partner with you. We need to partner with you to ensure that your child is fully successful, and we want to make sure that we have resources that make it easy to share information for that partnership to be possible. So what does it mean? So our second big rock is developing a growth mindset with students. What does that mean? If I have a growth mindset, then I know if there's something that I'm currently struggling in, I can continue to practice, to work harder, to ask questions, and I'm able to grow and develop so that that might be a future strength of mine. If I have a fixed mindset, in contrast, then it's an all or nothing. I'm either good at math or I'm not good at math. We want to make sure our students understand that they are growing, that they are learning. And so if they haven't mastered a certain skill yet, that's okay. It means they just need to practice a little bit longer and they will get better. So I ask that parents partner with us in helping our students develop growth mindsets by being really thoughtful about the language that we use to support our students. For example, say a student comes home and they've made an A on a test. That's awesome. You can encourage your student to have a growth mindset by saying, see, all of that studying really paid off. Or, wow, you must have worked really hard to prepare to earn that A on your test. Those types of comments are in contrast to saying, wow, you're really smart. Because saying that a student is smart is saying that you either are smart or aren't smart. And we, again, want there to be a continuum. So again, if maybe your student got a C on a test, you can say, okay, so what are you going to do differently? How are you going to continue to practice so that you can earn an A the next time? So thank you in advance for your partnership in developing growth mindsets with our students. Our third rock this year is literacy. This, as our superintendent Ann Clark has communicated across our city, is our North Star, and rightfully so. Literacy is not just about reading. Literacy is about reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And we all know that those are skills that we need to be successful in our future. So while reading isn't the only part, you are going to hear a lot about reading at Quail Hollow this year. I want every single student to have that experience where you just can't put a book down, where you stay up late at night because you have to keep reading to find out what's going to happen next in the story. We want our students to love reading, and we want our students to be proficient readers so that they can continue to learn about anything that they want to as they get older. So, first, you are going to hear about reading with a challenge that our superintendent, Ann Clark, has issued to our entire city. And that is for every single 3rd grade student, 7th grade student, and senior who is not yet proficient in reading, we want those students to have reading mentors. Now, at Quail Hollow, I would love to make sure that we get enough mentors for our 7th graders and then extend that support to our 6th graders and 8th graders. So if you are interested in being a reading mentor, or perhaps you have a neighbor or a colleague at work who is interested, please, please, please ask them to register and get more information by signing up on our website. Being a reading mentor is easy. There are materials and very clear plans already outlined, so all you need to be able to do is review that information and then enjoy a great experience with a student for 1 hour a week. That hour does need to be during the school day, but if for some reason you are not able to engage during the school day and you still want to support our reading initiative, please go ahead and fill out the form and we can help you connect with other opportunities to support reading at our school. I also want to make sure that you have seen in the news recently that in partnership with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Public Library System, in September, and we'll let you know when this happens, in September all of our students will be able to check out books at the public library using their CMS student ID numbers. So it's a great way for our students to have access to all of the materials that most interest them. So just a couple things in terms of literacy, but be on the lookout for much more. All right, so open house tonight. Please make sure that you read carefully that list of tasks that was given to you when you came into the school. There are lots of stations all over our school and I don't want you to miss anything. First, I do strongly encourage families to join the PTSA. This is an amazing organization that supports our school. Already this year, they've supported us by preparing our back to school mailing, helping get the school set up for the start of the year. We have had an amazing volunteer work to keep the landscaping and the beautiful flowers at the front of our building alive and flourishing all summer. And our PTSA generally gave every single instructional staff member in our building a $20 gift card to Staples this year so that we could be ready to have our students show up on Monday. So thank you to the PTSA. Please don't hesitate to join the PTSA if you have a busy schedule. There are lots of opportunities to engage and you don't need to be able to come to the school during the school day in order to be an active member in the PTSA. We really want all voices to be included. And speaking of including all voices, another opportunity for parent engagement in our school is to join our school leadership team. Our school leadership team, or the SLT, is a decision-making body that influences everything that happens in our school. One of the most important tasks of the SLT each year is to design our school improvement plan. So we love the work that's happening at Quail Hollow, but we know there are things that we want to continue to improve every year. And our school leadership team decides what are those things that we are going to improve this year, and what are the strategies that we're going to use to improve. We want, and the law requires, that the parents on our SLT represent the diversity, both racially and socioeconomically, of our school community. So we really, really want your voice. If you are interested in signing up for the SLT, please email me. The easiest way to do that is just by clicking on the link on our school website. Again, thank you for considering this important opportunity, and I want you to know SLT meets just once a month in the morning from 7:30 to 8:30. It is one Tuesday a month, so this is not a big time commitment, and again, thank you in advance for considering this opportunity. One of the things that our SLT makes decisions on is the dress code. So why don't we go ahead and put in a reminder for that now. I know that kids are talking about back to school clothing, and I do want to remind you that we have and strictly reinforce a school dress code. That dress code is available on our website, and I do want to highlight a couple of important reminders. First, all articles of clothing must be fingertip length or longer. So that means when one's arms are comfortably resting at one side, that line where your fingertips are is the line that articles of clothing must be. That applies to skirts, to dresses, to shorts. It applies to any holes that may be in clothing. If jeans, for example, have holes in them, those holes need to be below that fingertip length mark, or another article of clothing needs to be worn underneath the holes. The fingertip length article of clothing must go all the way around the clothing. I know you think I sound silly for saying this, but you would be surprised about the conversations that we have with students about their attire. So, tying a sweatshirt around a student's waist may provide an article of clothing in the back of a student, but it does not wrap all the way around, so that is not acceptable according to dress code. I understand that the styles are different, and so there are some shorts that are very popular that may be fingertip length in the front, but then they get shorter on the sides, and so I do want to provide a reminder again that fingertip length is all the way around. This has nothing to say with whether or not a style is in, or whether or not it is a wonderful article of clothing. It just does not comply with our school dress code. Also, I want to remind families that straps on tops do need to be at least 3 fingertips wide. And there are many tops right now that are popular with lace or with a sheer back, and so if students choose to wear those, they just need a tank top underneath, and that tank top again needs to have the wide straps that are at least 3 fingertips wide, and it's the width of the student's fingers, so it is proportional to the student. And also, tops do need to cover a student's full stomach. I encourage students to kind of lift their arms up and make sure that as clothing moves around that it will still be in compliance with dress code. Speaking of dress code, when you are here this evening, I strongly encourage you to visit our gym and purchase your PE uniform if you have not yet done so. Those are available for sale in our gym. While you're making the loop around the building, please visit Mrs. McCoffna. She is our instructional technology facilitator, and she will be leading programs throughout the evening discussing technology. We are very honored to have Chromebooks in our building. Those Chromebooks were purchased with taxpayer dollars, and we have enough Chromebooks for every single student in our building to have a Chromebook to use throughout the day when they've met expectations. Those expectations will include signing off on all required paperwork. Parents, that does include the required use policy that you were given in your back to school paperwork. And students this year do need to have a traditional style backpack that has 2 straps, and each one of the backpack straps needs to be at least 1 inch wide. That means that some of the string bags do not meet this expectation, and tote bags also do not meet this expectation. The reason we are being so strict about this is because it is truly a privilege to have this many devices available for student use to support learning in our building, and we need to be responsible stewards of the taxpayer dollars that purchase those devices for us. With collaborating with many schools across our city and other districts that have provided devices to students during the day, we have learned that it is critically important to have a traditional sturdy backpack to ensure we don't have unnecessary accidents that would damage the devices. Families, if you are able, as you're purchasing back to school items for your students, if you are able to purchase an additional backpack to donate to the school, we greatly appreciate that, so that we can ensure every student meets these expectations and every student has the opportunity to work with the Chromebooks. There will not be exceptions to the backpack policy. Speaking of supply shopping, if your family does need supplies, we have had some supplies generously donated by the Forest Hill Church community. So if you need those, please visit Ms. Mobley on the B as in boy hallway. And if you attend Forest Hill Church, thank you so much for your generosity. We greatly appreciate it. You have probably already gotten your students' draft schedule from your homeroom teacher. Please understand that those schedules are in draft form right now as we finish up with enrollment, and we want to make sure we balance class sizes so that all classes will best meet the needs of our students. So those schedules are in draft form. If you need any assistance with transportation, please make sure that you visit Ms. Shelton in the cafeteria so that you can be registered for buses and any other transportation questions that you may have. Last but not least, I want to remind you that we benefit from providing free breakfast and lunch for all of our students. No paperwork necessary, so do not stress over that. Thank you for completing the back to work paperwork. I know it is not the most fun task, but it is critical information so that we are able to support your student this year. And so just in case there's an emergency, we do know how to reach you. We ask that if you do have changing contact information throughout the school year, please notify the school immediately so that we can get that information updated in the computer system. That also applies to anything that may be changing in terms of custody agreements or what have you. We want to be able to honor all students and families, and so please just share that information with us so that we can support you. Thank you so much for coming out this evening. It's going to be a phenomenal year here at Quail Hollow.